All right, what is up, everybody? Coming to you guys with a awesome video. I am so happy to make this video. Actually, no face cam today. Webcam broke, but we have GOAT Grand Prix Peru. Peru had their first ever GOAT Grand Prix, which is awesome. I love to see the expansion of GOAT format into Latin America. I know Buenos Aires has been a huge hub for it, so it's cool to see it in Peru. But really, this is what I'm about right here. This was the first place deck profile, and just chef's kiss. As some of you might know, the first deck profile on this channel was a Benkai deck profile, and I am so happy to see someone else take it to GOAT Grand Prix success. This brew is awesome, so we're going to hop into this brew, okay? This was piloted by Miguel Salazar from Peru. He's piloting the Benkai OTK strategy. For those of you unfamiliar with the strategy, use his main guy, Benkai. His effect is he gets an additional attack for every equip spell attached to him. So if you have 5 equip spells attached to him, he can attack 6 times. So he's your bread and butter of the deck. Your next guy is Iron Blacksmith Kotetsu. He's a flip effect beast warrior that upon flip, he gets to search an equip spell from your deck. So not only is this nice for searching powerful equip cards, such as your Snatch Seal or your Premature, but in this case, you're searching up your equip spells that really increase the attack point or effects of your Benkai, and we'll get into those. And of course, Sangan searches all of these cards, and your one Cyber Jar to really turbo through your deck. These are awesome monster choices, very clean cut, just the simple ones that you need, and I love the turbo style deck that he's going for. The Benkai strategies in the past have been kind of slow to go. You know, you play Faiths and Tomatoes to get out your Benkai. You're playing more trap cards to kind of stay the game. But this deck wants to end games and end games quick, and it did, because it took that first place champion prize. Of course, you have your Pot Your Charity, duo, you don't need it. You're heavy to clear the way. Along with 3 True Nades in the MST, those 5 cards to clear the back row. Very important for the strategy. 2 Upstart, again, dig through the deck. That extra 2,000 life points really doesn't matter, because you're often dealing upwards of 11 or 12,000 damage with Benkai with the 6 attacks. Triple Scapegoat just to survive makes sense by me. And then here we go into what I think is the most interesting additions to the deck are the equip spells. So typically you'll see United We Stand and Mage Power as the limited equip spells of choice in Go format, because these are the only ones that do something insane. Mage Power increases by 500 for every spell and trap, so it increases up by 2,500, 3,000 if you have a field spell. And then United We Stand increases by 800 for every face-up monster, so Benkai plus 4 Scapegoat tokens is an increase of 4,000, which is pretty big. So those are your main ones. Your other main one is your Axe of Despair. Axe of Despair just increases the attack points by 1,000, and then if it leaves the field, I think you can tribute a monster to put it on top of the deck. No one uses that effect, but it's nice if you have a Benkai that dies and you have Scapegoat token, you can tribute off. It's really a minus, but if it comes up, it comes up, sure. And then Big Bang Shot is the important one, because Big Bang Shot is twofold. It increases attack by 400 and adds piercing or trample, some of you may know it, to the monster. So it gives Benkai ability to hit over Scapegoat tokens that block its way. More importantly, it says when this card is removed from the field, banish the monster it was equipped to. So there's a neat little combo where you can equip Big Bang Shot to your opponent's monster, play Giant True Nade, bounce the Big Bang Shot back to your hand, and then it banishes your opponent's monster. So it acts as a piece of spot removal. Really nice. Now let's get into what I think is the real spice. This guy, he went into the lab and picked the best equip spells he could. Lightning Blade and Mask of Brutality. Let's get into these. Lightning Blade is it's one of those older it's one of those older cards. Actually, when did this come out? Labyrinth of Nightmare. This is a 2003 card. Back when equip spells were supposed to be broken, and you can only equip to a certain type. They have Vile Germs for plants. I think it was Innovation for earths, whatever. So Lightning Blade is a warrior only equip spell, and it gives the monster 800 attack points, which is nothing to scoff at, but it's something. It's not as much as Axe of Despair, but it works great with Benkai. And then all water monsters lose 500 attack. I don't know how many Abyss Soldiers this guy was coming up against, or he felt he really needed that, or Sinister Serpents, but hey man, maybe he was getting schooled by Mother Grizzlies or whatever in his past. He's like, I'm going to make sure those water decks have it. But I think the 800 attack points was the next best you could do. in terms of an equip spell. So that makes sense to me. I like the addition. It makes sense it's the weaker one. That's why I only ended up playing 2 of this card. Now let's talk about this guy. I had to double check it. I haven't seen this card in ages. Mask of Brutality. This also is a Labyrinth of Nightmare special. The equipped monster gains 1,000 attack and loses 1,000 defense. We don't care about defense because we're just OTKing. Once per turn during your standby, pay a KEI or destroy this card. So that's also irrelevant because if you equip it, you're just winning the game. So you're never really paying that extra life. Why? I just have never seen this card. Apparently I wasn't deep in the lab like Miguel was. So this is just 3 more copies of Axe of Despair. This is pretty nice. An extra 1,000 boosts is nothing to scoff at, right? If you just have 2 Axe of Despair, 3 Mask of Brutality, or vice versa, you're equipping by 5,000 just on that alone, and he gets his attacks. Okay, I see you. That's really cool. That's really cool. I think that's awesome. And then the rest of the deck is the 2 Rotas, obviously, and then I think this is a great trap lineup. The triple jar, the 1 Reckless as it's limited, and then the 1 Decree. It's just kind of like your main deck way to flip that, get through any back row in addition to your heavy storm grenades and MSTs or MST to navigate the back row. So that's an awesome addition. I think that was a super smart tech choice in the main deck. Now here's the tricky part. Getting into a side for a Benkai deck is always interesting because you don't know if you want to convert, you want to play more stuff to make you safe, you want to just play more utility equip spells. So let's see what he's got. For a side deck, he's got the 2 Swords of Concealing and the 1 Swords of Revealing. Obviously, we have the Swords of Revealing for the limited part because it's just, basically it says draw 3 cards. Swords of Concealing is interesting because if you can slap it down and book everything and then slap on a big bang shot, you can pierce everything, which is really nice. So I can see the utility in that. Obviously, your other stall card is Messenger of Peace. I can see where that comes up because everything in your deck is it's a weenie. I think Benkai's 5. I forget what Kotetsu is, but it's either. I think Sangan's the strongest monster in your deck at 1,000 attack points. Right? We have all the equip souls, so like original attack. Sangan's your biggest guy, so Messenger of Peace is not gonna affect you too bad, but definitely a good floodgate, and 100 life points to standby phase, measly. The 1 Snatch, obviously searchable of Kotetsu, so it makes sense you side into it. The 1 Ring is just the most broken trap card, so might as well side into it, especially you don't intend on going into time, but having the ring there just to kind of, if you don't finish the job, right, say you didn't have the piercing spell and they had a couple defense points monsters, hitting your opponent for like a 5,000 attack point Benkai is kind of nice. The 2 other decrees in case they're playing a trap heavy deck. I assume this probably also comes in for burn. Speaking of burn, here's a burn side card. That's something you don't see every day, and I think this is super interesting as well. Props to Miguel for finding this tech too. Being able to flip the trio to kind of fill your opponent's monster zones and then put on a big bang shot and just pierce over the tokens and get that extra burn damage on top when they're destroyed. It's kind of nice. Okay, I think he's cooking with this. I mess with this a lot. I'm gonna have to try this on my own build. And then 3 Judgment makes sense. If you can just if you can stick a Benkai, stick to equip spells, back it by a Judgment, you're sitting pretty. So shout out to Miguel. Super awesome to see Benkai brought through a GGP, and not only brought through a GGP, but also winning the entire thing. So props to you, man. Shout out GGP in Peru. Super excited to see where Benkai goes in the future, and I'm just super happy that this deck won something. So congrats again, man.